A NRG, eles montaram meio que o Dream Team do NA, né? Apesar da gente saber que é um time muito bom, a gente vai entrar com a mesma cabeça, focar no nosso jogo e fazer o nosso melhor para poder sair vitorioso.
Oportunidade, acabaram conseguindo fazer o dele. 3 eliminações pro Artzin, 4 eliminações da Artzin de novo!
MIBR, haven't seen too much of them. They look a lot better than they did last year. Good up for them, but yeah, we're pretty confident in that match, so we just have to play our own game.
Team in 1, caught, knife out, Mark snapping onto 2. The 4 will fall as NRG get to 10.
Eu sinto que a base da NRG já enfrenta times brasileiros há muito tempo, o Marvel, o Crash e o Victor. Então eles já sabem basicamente como que os brasileiros jogam, acho que desde os confrontos deles de antigamente contra a Loud. Mas é sempre um jogo muito bom. Eu joguei também 2 vezes contra eles no ano passado, foram confrontos bem duros. E são jogos que sempre a torcida hypa muito, tipo o público geral hypa muito, é muito legal de jogar.
Welcome back to day 4 of VCT Americas Super Week and our second match of the day. I love it.
Every time, man. Every
Did
time.
you just beat Sentinels?
Huh?
Did you just beat Sentinels?
Honestly, that was... Well, let's go ahead and do a little reaction for a minute there. We usually don't, but we kind of have to this time around. Holy crap, that just happened. EG won. And Potter was right.
Yes, Potter just does not lose to Sentinels, Kaplan, or John
As a
QT.
coach. As a coach.
Except for that
Very
one time.
important coach.
That's all that matters.
That's it. I was nuts. Mimi, your reactions
they
from
played
that?
amazing, a huge step up from players like Jaw and Apoth today. I think in a fantastic game plan to come back there on Bind. And honestly, there's something about EG, and when they think they're out, just becoming unleashed.
Don't get too high on the cope just yet. But that was genuinely a really good series from them, right? Especially after getting beaten down, because you get so much momentum in that first half of Lotus, and then get smacked down to lose game 1. To be able to bounce back and then do your own comeback into a really solid sunset set is amazing.
No, that was wild. That was like literally a movie from start to finish of like a roller coaster of emotions.
Again, this week is upside down. That should have been a stomp game of the week.
The whole week has been crazy, but today I feel like we finally saw the EG that we've been waiting to see this whole time.
It's crazy because usually John QT games are movies, but this was like the end game of movies where all of your favorite characters just died.
Yeah. That was Infinity War. Come on,
okay,
man.
well, I
You're
tried.
So close, dude. You're so close.
Spoiler.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our next match because we got to get into this one. We'll talk about MIBR first. Now, here's the thing. We were optimistic about this team after kickoff, but the thing is that they have definitely suffered from some one-sided losses that have really, I guess, wavered my confidence in this team, whether or not they can pull off this win today, a la EG.
Yeah, I mean, their last game was against Sentinels, who, as we've seen, is maybe like a top 6 team in the league after...
Maybe top 8.
Yeah, no, but all jokes aside, this was not a great showing from MIBR. I think seeing a lot of mistakes where players are kind of inching up, trying to find timings where they don't really exist, and then getting punished in the late round, even when they have advantages, making some mistakes in how they're playing together and ending up losing a lot of these clutches. It was just a pretty sloppy match from MIBR.
Yeah, 100%. It felt like as a team, they didn't have a solidified plan of the way that they wanted to play. And every single time, it felt like someone was just like, okay, we're losing, I'm going to do a hero play. And it would just never work out for them. MIBR just felt so all over the place when I was watching.
I mean, like, JZZ was so often going off and playing, like, these solo lurks on the sky, trying to, like, be able to sell a fake on his own with just, like, a Skydog. Just the macro ideas on top of kind of those individual mistakes we're talking about weren't up to snuff.
Yeah, well, let's actually find out what's going on in the MIBR camp because we've got Artzin standing by with Elizabeth.
Artzin, can I talk to you really quickly? So you moved here all the way to LA to participate in Tier 1. How do you cope with your emotions after a rough start to Stage 1?
I mean, it's amazing emotion to be here, to have this opportunity, but at the same time, I'm not happy with my performance right now. I think I could do more for my team and for myself, so I'm working on that as well. So I'm getting at the point that I'll be unstoppable, so I just need you guys to wait and let me prove it, you know?
Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
He wants to prove himself, and I totally get it. And here's the thing. A win isn't impossible today for MIBR. Of course not. I mean, you know, one thing...
I mean, look what just happened.
Literally. Like, when we were thinking about this whole thing, we were like, oh, maybe not. Yeah. But look what happened there, right? So and here's the interesting part. It happened last year. That's right. RGL, FRC, and JZZ were on that roster, and they took down NRG 2-1. So this MIBR
team... That was last year.
That was last year. That was last year. But Ender... they did it before.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they did. I can roll with this. I didn't realize this is what we were doing, but
history.
Yeah. Okay. Look, EG are repeating history after a tough early start. I can get behind MIBR beating NRG, I guess.
And I mean, MIBR has been an upset team before. I think in a lot of ways, they have also had a better season thus far than last year even. And even then, this is a team who sometimes the players can have a game like that, FRC especially. I mean, these are some...
Whoa!
What are we doing here?
Is finesse up here?
Why are we showing this?
Yes, he was on the team when they played, but come on, man, look what you did to my boy. You didn't have to do that.
What does that have to do with anything?
Why did we just run that?
I hope FNS sees this. In any case...
Is this your doing?
No, not my doing. Not my doing. Listen, I'm just a minion, okay? I just read commercial breaks.
Steve Carell that did
what?
this.
No, it was production. You know what? You're going under the bus, production.
What do you have against him? He's just chilling at home trying to watch the game.
He might have been minus 31 there, but he's like plus 30K now. Like, I feel like he's winning.
FNS is my boy. I would never. We love you, buddy. Anyway, all right, well, let's go ahead and move on, though, because MIBR needs a win today to avoid an early elimination in the Omega group. And their strength of schedule coming up is very challenging because you got a G2 who anything could really happen with that team, Cloud9 as well. Like, there's a lot of, roulette that can be played here.
Fellas, this is looking rough.
These are dire straits.
Yeah, they need to win minimum 2 games to even have a chance, and even then, it's a very unlikely situation, seeing as they have been pretty much stomped in both of the games they've been playing.
Especially because I'm only counting 3 games left.
Yeah, they need to win out, and it's very tough opponents left, especially today against NRG.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult journey for them, without a doubt here. But we're going to go ahead and focus, though, on the NRG lineup because, NRG, we're looking like the team to beat heading into this Super Week. And they, of course, could make a flawless run to the playoffs. But then, unfortunately, Leviathan happened. And, oh, boy, that was quite...
Slappening. I like that.
You like the slappening there?
I mean, it was brutal. Honestly, like, NRG looked really flustered, especially on this map of Vine, because they were just never allowed to plant the spike on their attack. It felt like every time they were trying to do something, 3 players are coming out of smokes, utilities being unloaded on them. It felt like it really just threw off their game.
And a lot of people are being really doomer of NRG out of this, right? Because I think they made a lot of mistakes. On Lotus in particular, round after round, they're trying to contact into A main and falling victim to a lot of these trap plays that Leviathan was setting up. But that is far and away the best Leviathan we have seen. I think that Lotus from them was a masterclass, the way that they were calling on the defense. They did a great job of moving around their Cypher setups, kind of feigning pressure on one side, hiding that strong side, and NRG kept being called into it. Even when they went back into mid-control, the pop plays through the smoke off for Leviathan. They were really ahead of the curve there. So a lot was wrong for NRG, but I still feel like it's hard to rate because Lev is just so good right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. When we were watching Lev, it was like every single protocol that they had was just so on point. They were so quick to gather as a team and kind of execute every single play that they were trying to make. They looked so put together. And on top of that, for me, I genuinely feel like NRG was having more of a bad day than they were having just bad game, bad protocol.
I'll give you that.
It has to be a combination of everything, right?
Yeah,
You're having a bad game, the calls aren't hitting, and your opponent is stepping up to an incredible level. All of those things are true. The question now is how much did they learn from that, and how hard can they bounce back against MIBR? And I'm inclined to think they will.
Well, you got questions? Maybe Elizabeth has answers because she's standing by with
so good at getting those.
IGL Ethan. Let's see what's going on.
How does she do it?
Ethan, I'm going to stop you right there. I have a quick question for you. Actually, 2-pronged question. 1, what happened against Lev? And 2, how are you approaching the next match as an IGL with comms?
We definitely just played our worst VALORANT, I think I've ever seen. I think these guys have probably ever seen. And luckily, everything was easily fixable. So, we had one day to fix it, and I think we're going confident for this game.
All right, best of luck.
We'll see what those adjustments are that NRG makes. I have no doubt in my mind that Ethan and the team have a plan, but there has been a lot of online discourse regarding one individual. As always, we love discourse. Demon One, and there's been discussion regarding Demon One playing the Raze role when, of course, you have Victor on the team, who's one of the best Razes to touch the agent. So now the question is, like, do you feel like that is justifiable to a degree? But at the same time, though, like, maybe it just fits their plan, right? This is what they want to do moving forward.
So I think both things are true. Again, going back to the point that that was just an overall horrible match for NRG. And
People have bad days.
The Raze on that was a part of that. I think when you watch him play the agent, a lot of the ideas he's setting himself up for is like forward satchels into main on Lotus or on Bind, diving in single and trying to take a fight. You see a lot more of that kind of style to set himself up for a fight than playing that hard dive agent, more so like Victor would, where he's going deep into sights, wrapping around with a nade, and being more like a piece of the execute. You see it here. He's almost always just using that one satchel to get into the site, taking a duel, and overall he was losing them. But at the same time, the team play wasn't on point. He was kind of left out to dry. It's both.
And I'm kind of the opinion that it's very clear that what NRG are trying to do is create role parity map to map.
Yes.
That means, you know, your dive player, your duelist player, Jet, Raze, whatever, is going to be the same. And that can sort of simplify a lot of your processes, right? When it's the same people diving in, the same people setting them up with flashes, etc. And I also think that, like, yeah, Demon has not done this before. Let's give them a little bit more time to actually build into this, even if it is a little slower at the start. I think NRG's read is that it'll be good for them in the long term.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of layers that goes into being a duelist. And for Demon One, he's already gone past the Jet layer where it's like, you know, you can go in, you can get frags.
Which is what he was doing only in Kickoff.
Exactly.
Like, the pivot came just in stage 1.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we're seeing him on this Raze role, we need to see way more layers coming out of him and way more layers coming from out of the team as well. I think both these players, Victor and Demon One, fragging power, they both have it. I have no doubt in my mind about that, but it's just a matter of how they set up the Raze for success and how he's kind of positioned himself within the playstyle of the team in order to success and succeed with his util.
Yeah. The Demon one trick narrative isn't real. The guy played smokes when he was on EG. He flexed into different positions in that roster and did well on all of them. It was his first showing in a brutal game for NRG. I think if you give him time, he can become excellent on this agent, as we've seen with the rest of his pool.
And ultimately, if NRG decide in a week's time or a month's time that's not the right choice for them, they have the flexibility to be able to pivot back into a Victor Raze if that's what they want.
Yeah, now on the other side to that, there has been a lot of interesting discourse regarding what's going on with the Brazilian region, because right now they're in a really interesting spot here. A lot of these Brazilian teams have been struggling to pick up these wins. All of them, yeah. And
0-7 thus far.
Not very characteristic of this region when we know them to just be great slayers, great fraggers, guys who are always in your face trying to pick up those dubs.
I mean, last year, Loud was excellent. Fury had a strong start and fell off, and MIBR was always kind of fine towards the bottom of the rankings in Americas, but thus far, none of these squads have gotten online. So for these players, as we heard in that interview, being so far away from home, taking this risk, coming out to LA and playing in this league, you need to feel that success.
My genuine question, seeing that they are 0-7 right now, is what is worse? Losing today and going 0-8, or winning today?
Oh, don't.
Well, what would happen if they win today?
I don't know. They'd improve their chances of making playoffs.
I just feel like
it would probably be better to win today.
I mean, but
no,
what would the
that makes
scoreline be
sense
if they won?
Well, it depends on their record. So I think they'd be 1-3 right now.
No, they'd be 1-7. I love Brazil.
I'm talking about MIBR.
We love Brazil here. Okay. Well, look, no matter what we saw in that first series could very well come to fruition here today. This is Americas. You can't count anyone out, not by a long shot. But our teams are ready to go. We have our walkouts. Let's see these players make the stage and get ready for MIBR versus NRG.
Riot Games Arena, chegou a hora do segundo jogo do dia. Recebam MIBR!
Brasil original. Nós leva a vida dura, mas sempre no alto astral. Mas admito, sou brasileiro, trabalhador que vai à luta. Não desiste, merecedor dessas conquistas. Nascidos para o mundo, trago o Brasil no meu peito. Em busca das vitórias, responsa é com nós mesmos. Quando me perdi, encontrei comigo mesmo. E tirei forças, eu não sei da onde. Amigo amigos eu ganhei. Perdi, são coisas da vida. O que me dói é minha família longe. Torcedores vaiam, outros me motivam. Vou persistir nessa longa estrada da vida. Vencer a obrigação, derrota é uma lição. Desistir pra nós não é mais opção. Hoje mesmo busco o que é nosso sonho.
It's time to bring out their opponents. Riot Games Arena, make some noise for NRG!
NRG is looking to right the ship, but MIBR could potentially pull some magic out of the hat. The same magic that EG managed to find when they got their win against Sentinels. Could it happen? At this point, anything is possible in Super Week, so who knows?
It absolutely is. But for NRG, this is the bounce back game. They are coming off the worst match I think we've ever seen from this org for the majority of these players. That was the low point. Now this is their chance to take learnings from their mistakes and come back stronger in a match that they're favored.
Yeah, this is definitely the team that they want to show up against, because in this instance, they could show that they have learned from their mistakes, that in fact was just a bad day, which is what I'm riding on. I feel like a lot of these things were issues that they could deal with, but we have split first, which is something I really didn't expect, knowing that NRG has been so good on it.
Yeah, I mean, NRG fried Furia 13-2 on that map. It was not even
Quick day
close.
at the office.
And all things considered, like, NRG is a team that we expect to perform very well against the teams that they are better than. They do not leave cracks in the armor, right? They are very methodical in their approach to the game and are looking to repeat those performances here today.
MIBR play a very, let's call it classic style of Valorant. They're still playing solo sky on a lot of these maps. They're still playing a lot of 2020.
Same with NRG for
but
the most
it's
part.
the same with NRG. When I look at these two teams, though, I see a similar style, but an absolute difference in fundamentals. When I watch MIBR, I see people making solo plays, like solo sky fakes, weird stuff like that is losing rounds. And when you watch NRG, in the majority of their matches, it's the exact opposites. Their fundies are so clean.
Yeah, it's like the discipline levels are completely different, and NRG just has this level of discipline where they know that they cannot mess it up, not even a small crack in their defense or offensive sides. And now, I don't know, man, this map is going to be pretty rough for MIBR. Their mid-rounds have been good, but the execution of everything just has been so lacking.
I mean, one of the interesting things about MIBR's split is that they still play double dive, right? Not a lot of teams are playing the Jet and the Raze, but this is a map where JZZ gets to go off of Sky Jail and actually play that Raze agent. And the way they like to play is oftentimes to attack two different fronts on the map so that Artzin and JZZ can both go fishing and hunting a little bit on their own. And that's what they're making those mid-rounds decisions off of, is has our duelist gotten a pick or has our duelist gotten into a forward space that they can then pivot around.
No surprises in the agent select for the side of MIBR. They're going back to that aforementioned double duelist comp. I'm really looking to see more out of Artzin today. We heard it in the interview. He needs more time, but it's been a lot of games, and we're really still waiting for that step-up performance.
Yeah, especially with that Astra last time from MIBR, we did not see them setting up enough trap plays with the Astra, with the nades. They've just been using their util for not much effort.
Well, folks, we're ready to jump into this matchup and send it over to your casters, and I'm so pumped for this one. Making their VCT Americas debut, it's Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Great to be here in the Riot Games arena for a very curious matchup, because an NRG coming off another big disappointment, at least this time, Wyatt, it didn't cost them a spot at Masters.
No, not just yet, but this is a really important win for them. Both teams, I think, have a lot to prove going into this. MIBR, actually, in regard to the standings, they're the team with a lot on the line here. If they lose this game, they might just be out. Now, they could win the next two. Some things could happen with the standings regarding the other matches, sure. But this is damn near do or die for them. And NRG, this is really a litmus test. Like, is this team the team that we saw against Lev?
Are they on fraud watch?
They might be. I mean, their first game of the, the league allowed that was fatigued. The next game, Furia, they've had their struggles. I feel like they need a legit win.
Here we go, folks. Kicking it off on split. NRG attacking. RGL with a couple shoulder peeks here as NRG inch their way into that B main. No presence in mid just yet. Here's the guiding light. No ping off that.
Just going for a quick bit of pressure, and in the meanwhile, Demon 1 is watching that mid-walk push if it were to come in from MIBR, but they are content right now, just waiting things out, things slowing down here in the mid-round.
Demon 1 holding this angle, though. FRC is about to mess around and find out, but Demon 1 that comes off second best. He doesn't know that they've snuck the raise up to his right. JZZ in a position to capitalize on this. And back through the poison orb up mid he goes. Spike's been left outside of B main here, but here comes the hit. Marv explodes. RTL's Meister's Cranium goes haywire. We do have NRG embedded here on the B site. Very quickly into heaven come MIBR.
A flash out. Wow, they're going for this quite quickly, actually.
Paranoia on JZZ as he dropped down. Victor's able to find a second. Mazin and Artzin, last two left, and they are a long way from the action. Time for a post plant.
2 versus 4 right now. Artzin, you can see the caution on that rotate, expecting that there might be a late lurk, a re-lurk from NRG coming in towards mid, but that's not going to be the case. This retake, though, nearly impossible to crack. 2 on 4.
Straight into drop. Artzin goes. Marv aware. Here's the big iron ring out across this B site. He's going to step up. Artzin finds one. Marv down. Crashy's ops not to try and swing that in instead. Takes another big hit and is forced back behind the pillar. Time, both getting short. Artzin on the wrap here. High-low setup, but he's going to break it apart. Okay, Ethan's able to hold on to the 1 versus 1, but Artzin gets there. And already some energy for MIBR.
I mean, that should just not be winnable. That was a 4v5. I don't know what happened to RGL, but there was clearly some issue on site. He went down for absolutely no reason at all.
They had the high-low.
2 versus 4 recovery. I mean, that's what you're looking for from Artzin. This guy, he's had some moments, but he hasn't had the moment yet for his career this year. But what a great start here on the jet, on split. This double duelist look. Seen as well in tow. Another guy that, frankly, Mitch, I'm really looking at as a guy that needs to step up. Last week, some pretty poor gameplay from him. He's definitely a better caliber player than I think what he's been displaying lately. So listen, good early confidence here for him. Maybe get in the swing of things.
So a lot of the discussion on the desk wide has definitely been about maybe some old school comps that are still being peddled out by this MIBR roster, right? We also saw NRG really exploit the lack of Sentinel on the side of Furia, right? Marv, a lot of deep lurks, something well worth keeping an eye on, especially as these attacking rounds start to progress.
I was really worried when I saw the agent select for MIBR that they picked this into NRG, knowing NRG are running this, very 2023 double duelist look, and they didn't bring a Cypher to the table, and an NRG with a player like Marv, who is just constantly going for aggressive lurks on attack, just taking any space that he can find. And against Furia, that was just exposing them. They didn't have the coordination to deal with that kind of play with no Sentinel. And I do have concerns that MIBR might fall into the same trap here. But of course, with picking it as well, I suppose, maybe regardless of the lack of Sentinel, they have an idea as to how to nullify NRG's style here.
We saw it, I think on the replay footage there, it looked a little bit more like AFK Meister as he was stood still as NRG walked up onto that B site. That might be where our tech pause is originating from, but we have a chance here to talk about the Astra, which again is part of the conversation of these older, these 2023-esque MIBR compositions. How do you sort of feel that it fits in now, of course, with Ethan conversely bringing the Omen here to split?
We've been seeing a little bit of Astra here and there, right? I mean, a lot of attention towards Cryo Cells over 100 Thieves. He's been playing it on this map. And of course, there is some synergy there with the Raze, which is something that we've seen on Split for ages between those two agents, how you can use the nade with the grab well, etc., right? And I think, maybe in reference to what we saw from 100 Thieves, since this is the first time we're seeing this from MIBR since Kickoff, one of the keys is really just locking down that B site, being the anchor there. If you can find a timing to get a kill, sure, but really the importance is, getting information, closing the gaps for your team, and then, being alive for the retakes. Having that utility online can be very crucial. So,
of course, Right, Arena, no better christening for myself and Wyatt to jump right into a classic tech pause. But this gives us also an opportunity to discuss someone who kind of flew under the radar a little bit in the pregame, and this is a rarity, right? Demon One primarily was playing Raze in their series against Leviathan. It's an agent we see less of him from in general. Well, we had seen sort of Victor give that over so he can play the Cypher. Here, though, on Split, that's less of a question, right? Victor back on that Raze, someone who I think we were talking about it earlier, especially when it comes to those Satchel mechanics, is second to none almost.
Absolutely. He is fantastic with the Raze movement. Demon One so far, he's not beating the first death allegations, bitch. He's already gone. Tough start at the 0-1. There was so much attention being drawn to that stat in specific last week. It was, what, 2 for 15 first kills to first deaths?
Oh.
You never expect that from a guy like him, a world champion, no less. But, of course, you know, I think that what was going on there, that poor stat, it reflects a little bit on his play, sure, but the overall macro issues with NRG, they were just setting him up to fail.
Someone who found success regardless in that pistol round was Artzin, and we got a quick word from him about what it's like to go up against a team like NRG.
Eu sinto que a base da NRG já enfrenta times brasileiros há muito tempo, o Marvel, o Crash e o Victor. Então eles já sabem basicamente como que os brasileiros jogam, acho que desde os confrontos deles de antigamente contra a Loud. Mas é sempre um jogo muito bom. Eu joguei também 2 vezes contra eles no ano passado, foram confrontos bem duros. E são jogos que sempre a torcida hypa muito, tipo o público geral hypa muito, é muito legal de jogar.
And again, I mean, at this point in this Super Week, it's hard for any of us to get a gauge on exactly where NRG are at. Something we touched on right at the start of the show was that this team, I mean, they really put themselves nose to the grindstone after a disappointing loss. I think Victor in an interview said, oh, when we missed out on, on playoffs in Kickoff and missed out consequently on Masters, we were practicing the very next day, all the way through Madrid. And it showed. They came out and had 2 great wins at the start here of this stage, but against Loud, who were, like you mentioned, Fatigue, and then Furia, they haven't really beaten any true heavy hitters. Now, it's an asterisk next to Loud, given their circumstances coming into stage 1.
For sure. I mean, listen, Chet had them locked away in the dungeon of the NRG castle. They were grinding away all from kickoff to this stage 1. And so far, yeah, it hasn't, I think, paid off in the way that the NRG fans are hoping for, that they're hoping for. But of course, they do still, have 3 matches here to bring things back, facing MIBR now, and then up against EG, who got a crazy upset win earlier. Perhaps this is the day of the upsets. You never know.
This entire week has featured these huge blowout results, upsets as well, but more of the former, if I'm honest with you. That's obviously something that MIBR are looking to avoid, but NRG feel like they're mostly online for playoffs here, right? 2 wins already under their belt. Neither EG nor 100 Thieves pushovers. In fact, both of them have showed incredibly strong games in their most recent matches.
Yeah, I mean,
so if you can't just get a clean-up win here against MIBR, nothing is certain.
I mean, it is funny that at a time, not long ago, you would have looked at those matches and just been like, oh, that's a wash. Like NRG, they're winning those 2 games, easy playoffs. And now all of a sudden, EG, they've just swooped in and become a contender as well. Dangerous games left for them. They have no time to mess about at this point. A few tough ones ahead of them. And MIBR, perhaps this is where the team really becomes revitalized. I mean, again, we just saw for EG. Tough start, revitalized today. They can always turn things around. And listen, we've seen promising stuff from MIBR. It's not like this team are slouches. It's just that so far in stage 1, they didn't show up to the expectations that we had in Kickoff. That was really some of the best play that we'd seen from them, period. So we're just, we're waiting to see now, will they get back to that? And then can they exceed that?
And there's a question about the coaching, I think, for MIBR as well. We've actually seen that their fundamentals, their trading setups, their protocols are actually quite good. And in fact, in the past, I think it was against Crew, they had some pretty elaborate mid-rounding, especially on maps like Sunset. They just have a tendency of getting interrupted as teams sort of thrust down in the middle of that map especially, kind of catch them off guard. And I think Mimi mentioned on the desk, that solo lurking, Sky, all of your utility in these single initiator comps, just like trying to sell a fake. I get the idea. I mean, where else would the Sky be if not with the rest of the team with all this valuable util? Well, it often goes for very little as they try and sell a fake with it.
Yeah, there's always going to be a lot of pressure, on the MIBR player that is playing the solo initiator. Of course, on Split, that's not uncommon. But yeah, when we get to the other maps, a lot of pressure on JZZ, who has had some real standout moments for this team. Playing the Rays right now in Split, though. The original role that really even got him noticed, called up to the Tier 1 of Brazil, was when he was a duelist main before last season. And so, you know, returning to that original place that he had in the team perhaps can find some success, begin to turn things around here for the squad.
Right, we are, of course, in a tech pause, in case you weren't aware. That's right, I'm just reading the text, my friend. But let's make the most of it, turn this into a tech pause. Yeah, PAWS, they had me do this on the desk as well the other day. Share your best pet photos with hashtag Valorant, hashtag VCT Americas. You're either watching the games with them right now, or you have, of course, some fantastic shots of your pets in your recents. We want to see them, and we will share them with everybody else here. Cats or dogs, Wyatt?
I'm more of a cat enjoyer these days, I'm going to be honest, but I love them both, okay? I love them both. And we are back into the game now on the second round, refreshing your memory. MIBR won a 2 versus 4, running into NRG double stack backside B and won it out, which is absolutely mad. And now, big advantage here on the anti-eco, looking to take that early lead against tough opponent in NRG.
RGL can do little more than shoulder pick here in the B-man, but he has backup. Artzin here, hoping to find a gap through this smoke and into the bit of spray. For RGL is yielding a kill. This is beautiful. Artzin posted up on top of that kiosk. Finds yet another one and crashes. Sheepishly gets out.
One orb for their trouble at the very least, but right now, it's MIBR sweeping things up with ease. That top little position there, finding a nice angle behind the smoke in B main, and MIBR looking to start things off quite nicely here. Just the last 2 players to clean up, which they will more than likely do with ease, and they can come into this next bonus round, possibly saving 5 guns. And from there, who knows? An opportunity to spiral things out of control for NRG early.
And this is the team that wants to get a rifle in Artzin's hand as early as possible, even at the cost of one of their own weapons. Demon 1 headbutts one of the bullets from JZZ's. He heads into Ramen, and this will be curtains for crashies soon enough. Flawless. Met by RGL Meister, and that'll be the round. Now, need I remind folks, NRG found themselves in a similar position before running 13-0 rounds against Furia.
That is a very good point. Something tells me we're not going to see that today. Don't want to curse anything here, but something tells me MIBR, they'll at least get one round. But right now, on this bonus, bringing 5 weapons over, they have a Vandal on Artzin, a guy who can be their star player, a guy that we're looking to be the star of this team right now. Perhaps he can be the difference maker, the catalyst for a big round win.
This time it's Demon 1 over towards the A side, submit presence here. That's going to provoke the blooming of the Poison Orb. And FRC will happily play behind this. It's a double stack here towards B main. It's going to be a flash out from MIBR. Some defensive action here from the Brazilian squad. It's going to be punished instantly. Marved, always good for one there. He's far from done.
What a great angle taken from Marv. Just posted up, ready for the retreat off that orb. Really heads up. Frankly, despite the trouble this team has had, I think Marv has stepped up so much so far in stage 1. In Kickoff, he was a bit quiet for the team, but right now, frankly, I think he's been the star.
Demon 1 thinks about it. There's a whole welcoming party at A main for him. And instead opts to rejoin now with that 1 pick over at B main. NRG want to assemble for maybe ending the round over here.
And MIBR, they have opted to entirely give up that site. They are just prepped for a potential A play. They wanted to stack over there, but that is not going to come to fruition. They are going to be in a retake situation here. Not exactly with a util to make one happen too easily if they do end up going for it. Which of course they should, right? I mean, they are on the bonus. Send it. Do some damage at the very least.
They know RGL Meisters back there in heaven. Dog got all the way up mid through Mail into B heaven. So NRG have plenty of information there to work on. A triple setup here. You'll notice that Marv is still checking that B main, although that does not seem to be the destination here for MIBR.
Marv going to have that sight line on the spike as well, going to be pivotal.
Any moment now, MIBR. Into the breach they will plunge. Artzin's already dropped down now. Smoke going to be thrown just behind the pillar. Nading to the back left side, but Ethan already has struck. 3 up here for MIBR, and they're going to try and go for it. Through the smoke, the spray is going to be good, and Shieldmeister with 2 in the Spectre. Unfortunately, that's all they're going to be having here. A reasonable bonus for MIBR, if not a win. We'll take that. All the guns from NRG stripped away.
Oh, they'll take that all day long. They just bided their time. You know, they set up that little Gravwell nade that didn't actually bury through, but then they threw it into the backside, spilled in off that. They will take that all day long. Significant damage done here from MIBR. Nicely done just playing together there. Swinging through the smoke. I mean, just some random spam from RGL. Love to see that.
Yeah, there's a sense that they were really not playing for even a win in the round there. More than happy to trade their Spectres into economic damage.
Another full economy of NRG is going to end up riding on this round because of it.
Oh, Artzin off the rip. He found Marv. And honestly, Marv wasn't positioned that far forward. Ouch.
That is the gun that you want in Artzin's hand. I think that his opping kind of diffs his rifling, and when the economy is online for them to get it, crucial.
Here comes Victor, double satchel at the back of the sights, able to trade it from the high. Here's JCC. Demon 1, though, reluctant to push any further past. FRZ has made his way through the smoke, and there's a spike going loose. That's 2 for FRZ. Artzin chimes in. MIBR. Tough nuts to crack so far on defense.
Great flash around the pillar from Mazine so far. He's playing well, and that's exactly what I want to see from this guy. I think he is the one who needs to step it up the most from MIBR compared to the previous weeks. And so far, he's done a nice job. Just those small little things making a big difference. Like that Artzin off. And that is the benefit of winning the pistol round early. Getting that op online on defense, a weapon that in his hands can absolutely change the outcome of a game here. NRG relegated to that full eco.
They'll be thinking twice about contacting extremities individually. Is Artzin? Could have been a freebie there, but Victor baits it. Gravwell used, but NRG have eyes elsewhere on the map.
Artzin's just going to lock down B main so the rest of the team can gather up elsewhere. Or stack towards mid, and you can see over on the far right of the map, he's just jiggle peeking towards A.
And no one's ropes here. NRG pushed up very close behind his poison orb. This is about to get a little bit hectic. It's going to be refreshed there by the snake bite, but Demon 1 was the one standing up. The smoke dissipated and gets picked up. Sound like a herd of wild elephants here, NRG making their way through sewers. Over to A, and already Marv's gotten deep.
TB up top. So much great util for the retake here, though, for MIBR. Mazine can pop those Seekers, and he does just that. Gun advantage as well. This should be easy for MIBR.
Okay, they know about screens. They know Marv is up there now. The Seeker's getting a little bit further. Heaven control for the defenders now. Here's that showstopper from Victor. It's good for 1. Mazine down. Artzin has been so patient on this particular angle. Here comes the retake, though, all across the side. They're all headed towards screens by the look of things. Bladestorm, no connection there for Artzin. A little bit awkward, but he's going to have some backup coming through screens in just a moment. Victor and Marv, though, unravel it. Just 2 left. FRZ on the side, but eventually gets accosted. NRG, no business winning that.
Absolutely not. That got so scrappy. Artzin is going to be head and hands after that. They knew the 2 players were screens, but I don't think they put enough emphasis on just pinching into those guys. Such free kills stuck there. Positions no, classics. I mean, credit to Victor there. The people who've been demanding his return to Raze will be happy after that round. Vindicated for sure.
8-4. Victor right now leading the raid for NRG. Demon 1 with an op to hand now as well. This will be checked. Just the cheeky shoulder from Artzin, then back, but Marv there again punished on that B-long. Another 2-player push out there.
And punishing Marv is crucial to beating NRG on this map. And without that Sentinel, they're going to have weary eyes watching every little area of the map they could be, or rather he could be pushing into. So aggressive with those attack side lurks.
Ethan TP'd into elbow. Smoke screens and Heaven. The setup is there. They're just waiting, of course, for Crashies to get there. But FRZ's heard all of this. Demon 1 has to have his wits about him here. This could get extremely ugly. FRZ swings. Misses the first few shots, but Demon 1 eventually is forced out. Showstopper here for JCC. Has to know the Victor there is in hell. The Seekers now will be an issue when you're holding that showstopper. That has to be employed for nothing. The timing's good for Victor. And the Satchel to cover him for just a moment.
Satchel out.
Snakebite. A lot of YouTube being thrown at his feet here. That guiding light lets him know Victor's still goblining in this corner. Mazin eventually able to check that. Numbers advantage here for MIBR. Heaven control though, far from secured. Mazin pushing through hell, absolutely smashed by that paranoia, and NRG string a couple together.
A good recovery, things getting scary. I like that dog that Mazin sent out in Heaven. It was a nice little distraction for the flank onto Demon 1. You had to deal with that dog with the op, get the shot there. That was a good way to get things in a scary situation for NRG.
He's won.
I mean, that is ridiculous. Just walks through it. Mark never expecting that. Some good little micro plays from MIBR on that round. But unfortunately, the op, not the best weapon for the retake there. You could even see how much it slowed them down. But here we go, NRG looking for a fast play into A, it seems.
Guiding light straight up towards ramp, sees nothing. Victor hot on its heels. Will of course draw out the Viper wall. NRG now are setting up in a big way, making it pretty clear they would like to end on this site.
Absolutely, when that wall goes down, Artzin going to have an angle, re-smoked again, but it's going to be tough to get a shot with a double dash coming through.
He's able to get out at the very least. Demon 1's been able to push up a long way. Mazin drops down off rafters here. Spots Victor, but it's going to be traded. Demon 1 is nestled here inside elbow. This will be the post plant now. I feel like much hinges on Marved here in his very far out position.
Spike planted.
That late backstab from him going to come through main. And a big fight in screens here as well. Maybe the case, no. MIBR slowing things down, going to rotate back through Heaven. Crucial here for Marv to find a timing.
Huge! The wall came out up at just the right time. Marv had that one at his fingertips. And that's a huge couple. Knows there's a bit of attention here towards the top of ramps, but JZZ doesn't fancy it. In fact, MIBR have to pull the plug. Marv has unraveled them.
This has been so revitalized so far this stage. Shades of when he stood up and screamed, "I'm the best."
Yeah, I remember that, yep.
I mean, he is so back in form. Another game where he is just looking like the guy for NRG. What a timing, playing around that wall nicely.
I hate to say it.
So impressive at the moment.
Artzin spent that whole round getting owned by smokes. There's no other way of putting it. He's in screens, gets 2 smokes thrown in front of him. Marved brings his wall up at just the right time to secure 2. MIBR here fancying a bit of a timeout. Can't blame them. It's been a brutal string of rounds. They've had to suffer the wrath of an NRG with much to prove still.
And the coaches for MIBR have been such a strong talking point with them all season. Bazooka, Fraud, both storied coaches, a lot of history with Loud, the best players in the Brazilian region. Now combined with this MIBR squad. And we're just waiting to see, I guess, what they can do with them. I mean, and with all that talk, I feel like so far this season, seeing them playing comps that are not really meta forward, they haven't been using the Gecko. Some of those decisions honestly come, you know, they come certainly into question, and you wonder what influences the coaches are having. And
well, to what degree they want to innovate, maybe, as well.
Right, absolutely. And I'm just looking here to see, you know, for these moments to come up with the timeouts, what adjustments are these guys going to call? They have so much influence on the team, so much importance in their success.
Well, they've had their chance here to impart some more of that wisdom amongst their players. You can see Chet always pretty low energy individual. Just making sure NRG keep it tight here protocol-wise. A couple key ults, very close, if not already attained for NRG.
Right now, Demon 1 is considering holding that tight angle on A, perhaps, while over on the B side. Ethan's set up with a paranoia here. MIBR have been so active on that area in the map. They're just hoping to bait them in, lay a little trap for them. But MIBR, they're not going to bite. Playing a bit more reserved, one forward position, which is JZZ, hero rifle for them. Pushed up on A and might have an opportunity to be just that hero if he wins this duel.
Even 1 absolutely smashed and crashes, not an opportunity to swing. Now off the flash though, it's good, it's traded. Now it's time for the dogs, straight up ramp here, we'll see Nada. And how do you play off this now?
And off that dog, you can see the rotation being pulled for MIBR. Mazin has made his way over towards A and actually sent out a flash towards ramp that didn't get a ping. So perhaps a bit of false information as the NRG squad have opted to rotate all the way off B main through spawn Working now into this A hit where Marv has the Viper's Pit for the post-plant. Pivotal piece of utility late in the round.
MIBR have an anchor player though. RGL is absolutely entrenched here on the A side.
30 seconds left.
Clear screens here, and there it is. RGL reveals himself. Conditioned NRG. We're not to expect him to be here. He's able to find a quick couple. Only 2 left for NRG. They're running out of steam. Mazine now here will be reinforcing from elbow, though Ethan's able to find it. FRZ's a problem from Rafters, and Ethan all on his own has to find a way out of this. It's just too much. And MIBR, after a hasty timeout, are back.
I mean, so well done from RGL Meister. One of the guys on the squad that sometimes we're looking at, like, is he the one who's going to step up? You know, they kind of trade places every week. One guy goes a little bit crazy, plays a little bit better than the rest of the pack. But it's not often that we have a game with MIBR where one guy is just lighting the world on fire. It's certainly more of a team effort of things coming together. But if we can see moments like that from the anchoring Astra, so crucial.
4 attacking rounds.
That AWP is going to be posted up in B main. See how Marv deals with it. Fast play up mid here from NRG.
They catch a glimpse of the player there towards heaven, but Artzin is good for it again. Marv taken down in B main. NRG half mid control. And they're not done. They're going to move into ropes here, but JTZ waiting for it now. Demon 1 have the knives. Okay, they get out of that one relatively unscathed, even able to heal Demon 1 up. Now looking to transition out of this mid-hold. Victor, though, sees him walking with crosshair. It's just too easy. No, Artzin does not want to step up on this at all. Victor's spidey sense is tingling. Fire it off, baby! There it is! Artzin blown to smithereens.
And once again, the Victor Rays fans vindicated Mitch. I mean, he is
absolutely bat-chesting.
He is having a mad game right now. And on some of these rounds, frankly, you are just going to see the difference in the player quality. I mean, these guys, the firepower on NRG, there's a reason there was so much talk heading into this year of this is the super team. They get Ethan and Demon 1, the championship winners from last year, the core of NRG that have been at the top forever. Super team material. And at the end of the day, even if these guys are making mistakes, it's not their best game as far as the team play, you still have to beat them in gun duels, and that is a tough ask.
Firepower, that's the term you used. There's been a big discussion about MIBR. Maybe we thought Artzin would be the star to step into that role. He's been solid, but not that player.
Quick flash up the ramp for Victor. I mean, that is just a standard open we saw all of last year with this comp that we are going to continue to see when NRG are running it here on this attack side.
Did they see FRZ here? Yes. Victor has spotted that out now to put pressure on him. He's going to force the Viper to walk away. No more shenanigans there, just at the opening of A main. Demon 1's pushed up here. We've got multiple players, both duelists here looking to fight for some ramp control. It's about to get ugly. Artzin swings across. JCZ in deep trouble. Demon 1 has the off angle, but Mazina's good for 2. Victor there couldn't quite believe what was going on. But now they have the 3v1 locally, and into heaven is RGL Meister rotating.
Just a classic backside to anchor. That's certainly not going to be enough. RGL tries to find a timing off of FRZ's fight. But NRG, too good. Watching all of the angles properly. Well executed round. Things got hairy for a little bit off that wall. Spam being traded back and forth, but of course they came away with the favorable trades, with the favorable weapons. Frankly, as expected in a situation just like that. 6 rounds, split attack. Certainly nothing to scoff at. I don't know what Artzin's been doing with his money, but somehow he has just got enough to buy an AWP every single damn round. This guy's rich. How does he have so many AWPs?
Just don't play gacha games. It's that easy. Victor here, satchel across. Looks like NRG really valuing that ramp's pressure here, but most of the action is over towards B in terms of numbers.
And they are going to walk into this AWP from Artzin again. He's gotten a couple first kills with it and has a great opportunity to do so again. Certainly not another Demon 1 first death. No, he's going to get it on Tamar to be able to dash out. They just need to retreat and play for this 5-on-4 retake now. They have the Seekers and an Astra wall to do it.
Pretty illuminating this Seekers. Here's the amount of info for MIBR, but it's going to take more than that for them to be back on this site. Victor hears all of this from the Rays. He knows JCC's going to be there. Man, he's having a good game. Now pressure in towards Mail. Artzin, though, this time the Blade Storm strikes true. He's got 2 for the round. Looking to pressure down. Doesn't see Demon 1 inside the Cloudburst, and Crashies is going to be a problem here. 2 up for NRG. It's Crashies versus 2. in the post plant. Time is short, but MIBR can play with this. Oh my goodness! Gonna have to get up early in the morning to get the better of crashes like that.
He's just too good. He's been doing it with this team for 4 years at this point. Those are the situations that he lives for. When you see him in a spot like that, I mean, how do you doubt him at all? But again, so much credit to Victor. Look at this guy, 18 and 8 right now. What did he get there? I mean, it might have only been 1 kill on the flank, but the distraction that he had, the disarray that it caused, you could see Artzin's like, guys, are we going? What are we doing? And he's dashing in, the rest of the team, some of them still looking behind. They got so scrappy. This guy's race really is world class, and it's fun to see him on it again right now.
Demon One having to take a back seat here to his other duelist for this map. We're getting plenty of attention here over on this A extremity.
And it's Demon One who's really just been doing a lot of the lurking, to be honest, or rather containing on some of these extremities, not pushing up so much, but just holding down A, which is usually, you know, if you're running the Sentinel in his place, he'd be a Cypher doing the exact same thing, so.
Maybe that's an idea there. There might be something there, Wyatt.
With a Cypher on split, yeah, some may say it's a good pick on this map, some.
Demon One, though, has seen enough. On the long walk back to rejoin the rest of NRG. We are south of a minute left of the round here. NRG now starting to scale into mid.
Marp still with that pit online, could be used for the post plant here if they can manage to get into the site, but they're going to have to deal with JCZ in main with the judge, and he gets the spot at 1. Wow, good trade from Demon One, so tough against that weapon.
Artzin with that off angle there. Victor at least able to find something, but it's him and Demon One, and the ladder is low. In fact, gone now. Left. At least the spike to hand. MIBR quite distributed here across the map. Oh, Victor's made sounded ropes. This is dangerous. Artzin is going to eat him up. And that'll be that. Quite a competitive half between these two here. MIBR holding their own.
That being said, though, they did win the pistol round in pretty obscene fashion. If we go all the way back, which was that 2v4, and past that, they get 3 rounds. NRG with 7, looking considerably better here on the attack side, winning the big majority of the gun rounds, and even a couple rounds where they were at that 4v5 deficit on account of Artzin getting early picks.
Well, NRG looking to bounce back after a rough start to the week. Not a terrible start here on Split, but plenty to talk about. For all that and more, we're going to head over to our desk.
Thank you so much for that, fellas. Well, guys, I mean, we are seeing a very, to quote what Uber had just said, a very competitive first half between MIBR and NRG. And let's dive into that Thrifty that I think kind of like definitely tipped the odds in NRG's favor and gave them this half in a more winning fashion.
Yeah, honestly, MIBR's been playing a solid half here. And if they had won this one, if they had cleaned up a few of these mistakes, they could have been leading right now. But this was, for me, kind of the round that broke the camel's back, right? They're in a position, up numbers, playing into this retake. Then we're popping knives, whiffing every shot towards spawn. Players are flooding in one after the other, and it's just completely uncoordinated. It's mistakes like this at the end of the rounds that are costing MIBR opportunities.
Yeah, it felt like NRG finally got the ball rolling where they're like, hey, we can just hit sites, we can split, and we can use full firepower. And you can tell with these stats that Demon One and Victor are just going crazy. They knew that this entry go in.
Let's say Victor going crazy. Okay. Demon One continuing the slower performance. It wasn't an incredible half from him, but he's got a world-class duelist player alongside him in Vic.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have that confidence to start going in together and taking those duels. Even if Demon One was, unfortunately, the first one dying, he had the follow-up right behind him every single time. And it feels like that Thrifty was just the
important part of all of that.
Yeah, it just felt like the Thrifty was like the round turner where they were like, okay, guys, we can just kind of hold W, or we can just be more confident in our aggressive plays. But again, MIBR really back and forth.
Watching that half was an experience gap to me. The NRG players are so comfortable on that stage. Marv's winning late rounds, Crashy's winning late rounds, Victor consistent on the dive. They weren't sweating at all, even though it was a close game. And you compare to MIBR, where we're seeing a lot of shaky moments here. They've had opportunities, but they really have to pull it together in this second half because they do have a chance.
Yeah, one has to wonder, of course, what the circumstances are going to be here going into the second half, and we are going to find out. So to send it back over to Uber and Wyatt.
Tell you what, way to do Demon One dirty with that little head-to-head there at halftime. All you need to know, folks, is that there are 21 duelist kills on the side of NRG. That's all you need to know. Doesn't matter where they come from.
Yeah, hold on. I was checking the scoreboard. 21, that's
a combined effort.
A lot of kills. 21. Victor has 19.
Well, yes.
Where are they?
Okay, proof in the pudding.
Can't do this man dirty like that. He was playing Cypher Jet, Mitch. There wasn't a lot of opportunities.
Just without a cool
kills. He was unlucky. He was getting off. It's fine. Now MIBR on the attack side with this double duelist comp. Certainly the side of the game that favors this comp. Starting defense with it going to be tough. Starting defense with no Sentinel against double duelist, that's going to be tough. So they have a real opportunity at getting back into this thing here. Not like they're too far off 7-5, but it feels that way because they only got 3 gun rounds compared to NRG's 7. So despite the close score, it does feel pretty one-sided so far.
It's a great call out. Those crucial rounds. Those big gun rounds, NRG all over them. I'd seen earlier probing up mid there, staved away by a poison orb, and now the group here for MIBR. Towards a main Demon One has the tailwind! Well, no chance to use it, but it'll be happy enough with 2. That is all of the resistance of NRG at A, though. And they'll be in a retake.
Very deep position here from JZZ. Mazin bringing up the rear. Actually might engage with crashes here. No, the timing is just going to be barely missed. I'm looking to see if JZZ is going to work himself into a position here, an aggressive one to take a fight. Just kind of holding deep. Disconnected from the rest of the team, so he's going to have to pop off here individually.
Crashes one in the group. A nade on the wrong side of the box from Azine. A bit of an off angle, you could say, but it's being checked by Victor, and he swings it. He's better in that engagement. JTZ wants to make his way in towards heaven, but Ethan also is ready for that fight. And it's just RGL Meister. We've seen him do some stuff before, but going to take a lot for him to silence NRG here. We only lose 1 player and take the pistol in a second.
And Demon One just, you know, light little reminder
doubling his
not
kills?
talk trash during the halftime desk.
Any round I get to double my kills, I'm feeling fantastic.
Those MIBR players just forced the contact into him. It was Mazin on the lurk. They don't really have anything to clear there. Listen, at the end of the day, he is just so precise with those 1 bullet, those initial taps. That's what I see in my head when I think of Demon One. That's the kind of aim that he has. But NRG now, they're actually going to bring an outlaw here into the mix in the hands of Victor. 2 sheriffs on MIBR, so if they carry it over, potentially a couple light armors that he could one-shot with it.
Victor wants to bully his way into B main, and who could blame him with his weaponry? Paint shells to threaten him, but he's able to satchel away, and Ethan gets RGL on the fadeaway.
Now just forced to back up our MIBR. At this point, momentum firmly in the favor of NRG, the heavily favored side in this matchup.
After the pressure, holds his own. 2 consecutive spike carriers removed. Spectre singing in his hands, and it's a matter of course as Victor finds Martin trying to make his way into heaven.
Just a little bit of stat padding for him. Getting close to another Raze ultimate. Only 2 orbs away at this point.
Or headshots.
And actually, MIBR, they are actually going to be okay with the economy. I was worried there for a second with the Sheriffs that they might have just been low enough to have a light armor there in the mix, but that is not going to be the case. But
okay. Bonus.
That being said, look at JZZ's util. Look at what he has to forego utility for a heavy armor. That is tough. No boombot, no satchels, because you bought a Sheriff last round. Unfortunate, man.
How the heck do you break the crosshair placement of that Aloe, for example, holding a long angle? Marked under a bit of pressure. Artzin probing here. All of them MIBR, many of them in fact 3 grouped up. Gonna eat the paint shells to start with. Victor fancies a bit of argy-bargy, double satchel into the side here. Stinger in hand. So to get himself in the back of B side here. Wait for his chance to swing. Crashes a little isolated there, dropping down from heaven, and the wall drops. JZZ moving up, but Artzin's already found Marked in that back corner. NRG feeling the pressure here now. Victor can't hold his own. Demon One at least been able to equalize, playing from heaven, and Ethan sees JZZ walk straight into him. NRG now, it's just RGL to deal with. And Demon One's found 3. Spike is loose. And RGL has to stand up, but he's able to split up NRG. Demon One knows he's low. Ethan takes a chunk of damage off him.
Obscuring vision.
Here's the swing, and it's good, RGL. Always good for a bit of a clutch.
He's been stepping it up this map. Well done from him, and well done from MIBR. I like that in the middle of that execute, they did slow things down. They realized that NRG, they were trying to flood in there. You could see Ethan put down a smoke for Victor to play around when he satcheled in. And MIBR, very aware, if we take the fight to them right now, they have flooded into the site. We're going to get up. So they slow it down. They get a nice few kills. And then look at it. I mean, Demon 1 almost bringing things back. He is coming alive a bit more on this defensive half. Well done from RGL to close things out, though.
Giving him an operator this round. Previous world champion with that weapon in hand. A scary prospect. Just wants to take contact here at this big extremity. Poison Orb still gives him a little gap to play through. MIBR want none of it.
I don't have a whole lot of utility to actually deal with someone posted up with the op, but you can see Mazin making his way over right now. Does have the dog, does have a flash. They're going to have to try and force him off this angle. Victor is ready to play off of him as well on site.
Well, they want this.
This duelist duo ready to stave off the hit.
Here comes the smoke. Inching closer, MIBR. At some point, you're going to see an elbow and swing. Demon 1's found one tailwind away, but here come the cavalry. MIBR trying to push aggressively, but that's a second. And here come the blades. Not enough. JZZ's able to find two. Pushing up here on the site. Demon 1 buys a decent amount of time, and RGL Meister, who loves a bit of a late lurk, is about to run into two in mid, and Ethan is just too sharp. 3 players for the post plant to work with for NRG.
Great awareness there from Marv on that look. JZZ popping the showstopper though. Blinded and not able to get any value. 2 versus 3 now.
Devastating. FRZ playing from L. You think they check this. Here with the paranoia, but Marv doesn't check it.
No way.
FRZ emerges and fights 2. It's all up to Crashies now. Time is getting short, and JZZ has the line. MIBR starting to make this one a little uncomfortable.
You are joking. What an outplay from FRZ, getting the poison cloud up, shrouding himself within it. Oh my god, dropping it after hearing the second pair of feet drop from heaven. What a play. Demon 1 and Victor, they tried to anchor that site. They wanted to lock it down together, and JZZ, he is stepping up on the duelist role, his old role. Role where he made a name for himself, got himself into these tier 1 Brazilian teams here to compete in the partnership. NRG now relegated onto the eco. Bucky in the hands of Marv, and he might have a chance to get a kill with it. There is some pressure here towards A. JZZ with his fast take of ramp early on.
No commitment here from MIBR. Note the position of the spike.
There.
They'd love to pull some of these NRG players out of position. So far, though, they have been stalwart.
And Artzin as well. He's actually picked up that op that Demon 1 dropped on the previous round. So they're going to be playing a little bit slowly around now. You could see him posted up in B main, just waiting to see if there was going to be some kind of contact push, perhaps from NRG, trying to take some space there, take a fight. One of those sheriffs. That's not going to be the case. They're going to go pick that spike up back and spawn. Go towards A, and
where's the info?
Going to go for a bit of a split here as they dog up mid.
Well, question answered. Now they're starting to get some. JZZ on the heels of the dog, and Ethan got caught by the Trailblazer. Marv swings out into 3 here. NRG knew very little about MIBR. Set up that dog, provokes him to push out of A.
I mean, there's just no way you think that all those players are going to be at A.
30 seconds
when a
left.
dog comes into heaven and then it's followed up by your duelist, like what the hell is the rest of the team just sitting over at A?
Have they not watched the tape?
I know, you never expect.
That's what MIBR do with the Sky.
I know, you're right. I mean, that is what they do. They lurk with this Sky constantly. They use the Sky as a fake over and over and over. I mean, that is just so true. Oh, buddy. Around from them. Economy gonna start to roll a little bit for them. The favored side with this comp. Is it upset day, Mitch? We got one already with EG over Listen, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but NRG are forced onto the timeout. Things have started to spiral.
Very early prognosis from Dr. Valorant there. I'm not
gonna get too excited, but I'm gonna get a little bit excited.
To be fair, MIBR are able to really vary the pace here. They can call cancels, they cut noise. They're doing a very good job of hiding their intentions from NRG. Just because you know that they like to fake with all that Sky util. The different story when you're in the server against it and you're obeying your usual protocols.
Absolutely. just not used to playing against a team that does that so often. The majority of the time, you're going to see the sky in the rays. I just think, well, of course that's where the hit is coming. That's where the sky and the rays are. But this is MIBR, and that is not the case. I mean, it's not often that they always have a duelist with the sky. A lot of times it will just be their sky alone.
And again, like a Trailblazer
still at the other side, but
Trailblazer up mid at like a 1 minute timing is not the craziest thing, right? That's pretty standard, but NRG just have no idea where the rest of MIBR are playing.
No, and I mean, listen, this is a point we're making too, that as the series continues, we'll likely see applied on other maps. I mean, this is just vintage MIBR. NRG, though, they are going to have the bye. Victor, showstopper in his hands here on the round, posted up towards that A side. RGL with the Astral, they could go for a big execute here off that if they so choose.
Didn't see it in the first half at all. Here they come. It might be not opting for ramp right now. Might just be a straight push into A main, and here it comes. Ethan trying to respond with a paranoia with decent timing. Victor caught with the paranoia himself as he crossed. No connection on the showstopper and an elbow. MIBR breaking ankles here. It's only Marv to find anything. Crashies out there from Rafters is good for one. The spike is dropped. Crashies has this line. RGL runs straight into it. It's a big opening here for NRG. And there, MIBR still waiting on FRZ to reinforce.
His timing is going to be everything. Even one not expecting me going towards screen. 2 versus 1 now. He needs to step up. The player under scrutiny needs a big moment right now, or NRG's economy is going to be crushed. MIBR with an opportunity to take the lead, tie things up now.
He knows a sixth sense about FRZ challenging Artzin. Has no choice. There it is! Demon 1 has come alive at just the right time.
Steps up when they needed him most, and despite that string of round losses, he has, on this defensive side, just stepped it up. I mean, you can see it just by the numbers, right? I mean, what is he? 9 and 4 on the half right now on defense. Was 2 for 10 on the attack. This man is turning things around. And it was a great hit from MIBR as well. Victor nullified while he had that ultimate out, the paranoia. He just didn't know what to do. JZZ down fast into elbow. And again, look at this. Gathered up for a fast play on A or MIBR.
Get out of my way!
Stinging a hand for Artzin, but Bladestorm is available. Fast hit. NRG taking their time with this now, but assembling in heaven, and Crashies just is anchored there in elbow. Great connection. Artzin has to navigate this low ground. Does have those 9s available. Crashies is proactive. Moving around this B side, and is Victor. Mazin taken down. Victor drops it with the blades. Just aren't there for Artzin. And Crashies is able to spray him down. Just the 2 players in heaven now left for MIBR. And that spike is dropped in Narnia, virtually. Demon 1 there bites off more than he can chew, but it doesn't answer the question of MIBR getting that spike back to hand.
These two would have to go absolutely nuclear right now. If you check in on the state of the economy as well, MIBR's hangs in the balance on this round. If NRG convert here, go up against the bad boy in the next, they could be at 12.
RGL Meister, FRZ have got to put this together. But instead, I think they've decided, why? That discretion is the better part of valor. Would much rather hold these weapons into a later round.
30 seconds left.
No interest in challenging as a fast A hit crumbles to dust.
Goes absolutely awry. Crashies just so good, man. So consistent. It's not always the big number that he puts up on the board, but it's just the impact kills that you see him have throughout a game.
10 seconds left.
Shutting down JZZ there, who's really been the one that's been cracking these sites open. That tip of the spear for the MIBR attack. Rifles have to be saved here. A wise decision from RGL and FRZ, frankly. Now they will have something of a real opportunity here in round 20. A reasonable buy that they can cobble together. And a lot of ultimates playoff around. I mean, RGL, he's been sitting on this Astra ult for 20 rounds, Mitch. He's had it since the first half.
Now, we have not seen much of that at all. Maybe MIBR not feeling they've been in a position to make use of it, but so we have a timeout called here. Because it's not just that Cosmic Divide, of course. We've got the Viper's Pit. Showstopper all up here for MIBR, and they've got to turn these into a winning formula, Wyatt. They've got a bit of a buy to work with here. A lot of light armor. A few rifles at least to bring into the round, and Bazooka very surreptitiously delivering what has to be the silver bullet to MIBR on this attack side.
Highly regarded coach Bazooka Fraud as well in tow, of course. We spend a lot of time talking about the coaches on MIBR, and for good reason. Again,
we could spend
discussed
more,
them earlier. I mean, we can spend more, excuse me. I mean, these two guys, long history with Loud between the two of them. 2 years combined when you bring them both together to go with MIBR. Certainly no lack of experience. See what they're going to assist with. Kickoff here for this crucial round for MIBR. 3 ultimates in play. The entire economy on the line right now.
They picked this map. They picked this map against NRG. They wanted to roll back this somewhat antiquated composition against them. 24 and 13, Victor.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a B hit with the Astra Wall, and then the Viper's Pit for the post plant with the spike planted for B main. All reliable when you have those 2 ultimates online.
Victor reluctant to give up this B main for free, but doesn't seem a whole lot to keep him interested. Demon 1, he saw that swing though. He's going to force them out. Artzin unaffected though right now by the snake bite. It's not an opportunity though because Demon 1 knows better. A couple freebies straight down mid for NRG, puts them in commanding position.
They just make that look too easy. They really do. And all of a sudden, when you're MIBR, when you're 20 seconds in the round, you're like, oh damn, we have to save again.
So everything we talked about that timeout, no longer relevant.
Save it for next round, and let's just hope that maybe we can save some of these guns. Of course, they're gonna contact here on mid. They're gonna try to see if they can even things out, try and get a couple kills here. But if not, if time dwindles too low, they might just be tuck and tail back to spawn yet again.
They still got RGL Meister embedded here towards B main, but the opportunity to activate him, pretty limited. Demon 1 gives a bit of ground. Artzin's able to take him here. Victor and Ethan now start to feel the tension.
30 seconds
Artzin's
left.
dropped and RGL Meister's made his way out of main. Victor hears all of this though, and FRZ no good. He'll try to go for a Viper's Pit. Just Artzin left now. And he is going to be encircled. Ethan. Now Artzin knows the Omen is TP'd into B main. He's got no choice but to try and fight his way out of this. He will not be allowed to leave the arena with a gun.
And there's just no hope. And NRG, they are now in perfect position to close out this map.
Match point.
Of course, this was MIBR's pick, but something of a home map to NRG too. It always has been. This was their go-to last year. And when things weren't working for them on it this year, you remember at Kickoff, they had that tough loss to Sentinels. They just went right back to the comp that they were dominating with in 2023. And they're about to be 2-0 on it if they can convert right here. But still, MIBR, they have an all right buy. They've been able to get together, you know, couple rifles, couple SMGs, but of course, you're just looking at that wall of red that is the ultimates they have in play.
Confirmation there for NRG. That was some action over at A main. The defensive Trailblazer also being thrown down ramp here. There's a gap, it's small. Oh, it's big enough, really.
You want to fight it?
He knows that cross hits the Cosmic Divide. Ethan trying to beat a quick retreat. JCC's gonna have to swing the Cosmic Divide here, but there's not much to be looking at. He's going deep. He's getting into the cookie jar. But all of NRG, they respect it. They back away. Paint shells to buy a bit more spacing now as MIBR go for the plant.
Spike planted.
Mazine as well still has those Seekers online, can choose to pop them late into the round if necessary. Gonna go through that pit, find the NRG players trying to retake through it. Crashy's no dog, no Seekers.
Unreal, Artzin challenges the rope and has found 2. There's gonna be more pressure now, but he'll have a 3-piece. More work to be done here as Marved drops from heaven as well. Mazine swings new box and it's good. It's all down to Ethan. And he has long since left the building.
And all it took was a few ultimates, Mitch. Again, it is just the old reliable B hit.
What do you want?
When you've got the Astro, when you've got the Viper, they redeemed their free Valorant win card when you have those 2 ultimates on split. And how about it? They won. And it was well played from Artzin, obviously, as well. That 3K from hell. So clean. He's had his moments this map for sure. And NRG, they just didn't really have the best utility for that retake either. You could see Crashies, they already had the dog depleted. Like, how are they really realistically going to get through that pit?
No, and then they used that to re-clear ramps, I think, at the start of the round. Timeout here for NRG. And they also find themselves in a situation where there are some ultimates at their fingertips. Perhaps less map-defining. We've seen Demon 1, excuse me, look to pick up an operator here. NRG would love a clean finish to the game. They'd love to stick the landing here and move along.
Certainly see some kind of, 1-2-2 setup where Marv plays in the pit and mid, one player to help him there. Demon 1 locks down one of the sites with the op, the other two playing on the other side. Pretty standard position for the Viper's pit when you're on defense, when you have it online, is to just drop that in mid, have one guy helping you. Chet just trying to ensure that NRG lock this thing up now. That
they get a plane to land.
Out of control. They do. They absolutely do.
All right, MIBR. We'll have to deal with an operator here, but it might just be Demon 1 doing his Sentinel jet roll over at B this round.
Yeah, looking to lock down main with the operator. Seems to be the play.
Here.
But MIBR's focus is going to be on A. Demon 1, not a lot to do with that op, at least in the early round here.
No, he'll be twiddling his thumbs for now. I think he realizes, hang on. The action might be elsewhere here. Now, MIBR in absolutely no hurry at the moment. They might have heard that the Trailblazer come out here, so some information. They might want to move back into ramps after it did reclear.
Good negative info. Absolutely. Realizing that because the dog saw no one, that the NRG players might be opting to fall off a bit. And now the dog reclear from Mazine in mid. Classic MIBR gameplay with the Sky, using it on a different part of the map while they execute elsewhere. And it's
they're wise to it. They know it's coming. Crashies is going to be here, though. Artzin, lovely little two-piece there as RGL falls to the paint shells. The spike is in A main. Artzin needs to find his way back there. Somehow able to whip one down on Victor. And even the score. The spike has made its way over now. And MIBR get to play the post party with knives ready, and Artzin firing on all cylinders.
Am I missing something? When the hell did Victor get there, and how are he and Artzin not acknowledging each other's existence? Demon 1 with the operator, but can't pop the knives. Little jet duel possibly to close things out here, 2-on-2.
Into elbow, uncomfortable. Flash will be trended away from. Snake bite thrown there, Marv able to capitalize. Now it's down to Artzin, who's got to fight his way out of this corner. It's a tap from Demon 1. The blades are there as Demon earned them. And he will use it to end the map.
Well recovered from Demon 1 on that second half. Pressure being put on him from the fans, from the NRG fans, the community, the analyst desk at halftime. Everyone's looking at this guy, and he stepped up massively.
The pundits.
All of them, and he stepped up in that second half. 2-10 on the first. Ends things significantly better.
Yeah, 14-17.
Second. Yeah, a great recovery from him, closing things out. NRG looking good. It was MIBR's map pick, but a map that we know NRG have always been good on, Mitch.
And we've seen that comfort from them, rolling that double duelist composition back out, allowing Victor once more to bask in the limelight. What a showing on that raise. 26 kills and 16 deaths. Just what NRG required here to bounce them back after a little bit of a tough start. That was MIBR's map pick. NRG get to take us to theirs in just a moment. For now, we're going to head back over to the Dets to break down map 1.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Forever, yeah, yeah, yeah. I burned your letters, and I'm just forgetting about you. I'm just forgetting about you. Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. I've lost control. Should've known better, yeah, yeah, yeah. You said forever, yeah, yeah, yeah. I burned your letters, and I'm just forgetting about you. I'm just forgetting about you.